Hello fam, everybody, welcome. This is your first episode here of Coffee, Kids, and Clarity. My name is Dawn Kralovich. I will be your host. And before I dive into my very long list of credentials, I would like to start off by saying that I am human. I'm human first, and I have lived a whole lot of life in 44 years. So I'm hoping this podcast, whoever is watching this, that you feel some kind of way in relatability and understanding that we're all going through our own battles internally and externally, and you're not alone. You're not alone. So now I can backtrack to my credentials. So I have been a nurse for well over 2 decades. I am currently a life coach. I'm actually a board certified nurse life coach. Yes, there are credentials for life coaching, and I do have them. I'm also intuitive life coach. So what I do is I help people navigate life. This insane roller coaster we are on, I help them do that, right? And I have people with all walks of life that I get to help here that come to see me here in this office or virtually, which is pretty awesome. And I really want to hammer home probably the best thing that I can say is that, you know, we are all moving through this together, right? Like, so if there's any concerns, questions, I can leave you guys all my information at the end. Feel free to reach out at any point in time. But I thought this first episode, we would just kind of dive in so you know who the heck I am and what I'm doing here and how I help. So not only was I a bedside nurse for many years, and I get to do this now and I help people holistically, if you will, whole body, right? Because as a bedside nurse, unfortunately, I took care of people just predominantly physically. And what I learned through all of my experience, whether I was working in the intensive care unit, whether I was doing trauma, pediatrics, post-open heart surgery, is that we cannot separate ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's all, we're all one being, folks. One whole person. Can't do much about that, right? It's not supposed to be like that. But what I noticed here in this space on how I help people a little differently is that we get to talk about all of those things, right? And we get to kind of venture down all those versions of life, if you will. So not only am I this life coach, I'm also a mom to 5. I'm going to pause because most people grab their stomachs when I say that, especially women. 5 kids, ages 17, 12, 10, 5, and 3. So we have a lot of organized chaos in this house, if you will, and I couldn't be happier about that. And that obviously comes with its ups and downs and stress accordingly. I've also walked through life. I have been divorced. I have been widowed. And I'm currently remarried to the love of my life. So when I say I lived a lot of life, I kind of wasn't kidding. And now I get to help people navigate their spaces because I've had help along the way as well. So if you are like me and you are navigating grief, if you are navigating motherhood, if you are navigating your relationships, your experiences, your dynamics, this is the place for you. Hence the name Coffee, Kids, and Clarity. And I want you to come as you are. Every time we do one of these episodes, I want you to know that you get to show up just as you are, right? You don't have to show up as anybody else. You get to just be who you are. No requirements required, right? I like to tell people that if you're really going to come as you are, you get to really love yourself unconditionally. And I'm going to just pump the brakes because I know some of you're inserting the eye roll as I'm talking about this, right? Dawn, unconditional love of self. Yes, let me explain. See, when I mean unconditional love of self to get you through all of these obstacles, if you will, in life and all of these challenges, that means there's no terms and conditions on how you take care of yourself, right? So a great example I give people is, your child, right? If you're a parent, you love your kids unconditionally. You would pretty much do anything. You would walk the end of the earth for them, right? But it amazes me how many of us don't do that for ourselves. Like, we will show the grace and the compassion and the unconditional love to others, but we forego it when it comes to self. So throughout these podcast episodes, I would really like you to think about that, right? I want you to think about those things, whether they're past, current, or maybe into the future that make you a little more curious as to why you are treating yourself the way you do, right? And I would like to note, I am not a therapist by any means, so I can also provide information for you, those trying to seek that. I have many clients that see myself, that have seen a therapist, see both So it's not above or beyond me. I want to make it very clear, I am here to help, right? Like, I've wanted to be a nurse since I was 5. It is innately in me to help, whatever that looks like for each individual, because I know how much this experience, has helped me. I've had coaches myself in the past to help me along the way. And I know how much it has allowed me to really figure out my stuff. And I'm trying really hard not to curse. So if one slips out, I'll apologize in advance. But yeah, this is kind of how I got here, was just going through all of these ups and downs. And then I came to a point after I lost my fiance and the father of my 2 kids suddenly, it'll be 9 years in February, where I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, where am I going? Like, what does all of this mean? Like, what is life at this point, right? Because those of you who have lost a loved one or are moving through grief at its finest, right? You contemplate those things because it comes and goes just like everything else in life. And what I figured out is that there's more to than what we just see right in front of us all of the time. And perspective shifts, right? Like, the lens you put on is different every day. And sometimes we need help with that. We need help adjusting the lens. We need help tapping into those things that maybe we've kept down because, of all of the things that everybody's laid out in front of us. Like those expectations that, maybe mom and dad thought of you, or maybe you've put on yourself. And I'm looking at you guys because I know there's many of you who've done that, like I've done that, where we have put the bar really high and then we keep falling flat on our face and wonder why we keep doing it. So if this resonates with you, that's why I'm here. This opportunity to do this podcast and to share my life and my gifts and my abilities and my heart with everybody is for good reason. Because you're not alone in this space, ever. So I would like to kind of move on to what I like to call the breakdowns and breakthroughs of my life as to what landed me here. And if you do hear kids in the background, I got a buttload of them. So that's just kind of par for the course, guys. So again, this is really real life here in my home office. I do live in a big place with lots of animals. So if you hear a rooster crowing, that's just how it is. There were many moments in my life that, that I broke down and I had to pick myself back up. And what I really want to put out there for people, and I'm sure as I'm actually saying these words, you're probably thinking about those moments, right? So I can just pause for a second and shut my yapper, let you think about that for a minute. And whatever comes up, allow it just to surface. But the reason why I'm saying that is because there were so many learned lessons from that, right? Like from my lived experiences. And a lot of times we are focused on so much of the past and what we didn't do, we could have fixed, that we forget that we're living right here, right now, present day, right? And that takes away from us being very present, right? Because we can't back to the future it and hop in a car and go back and fix those things and turn them all around. And we sure as heck, we can't actually go to the future because it's not there yet. So don't you think it's best if we just sit right here, right? Have a little coffee, we'll just chat and like figure things out right here, right now. So we don't carry those things continuously. So you're not like, feeling like there's 400 pounds on your shoulder, an elephant sitting on your chest, right? So when things get really loud and responsibilities get heavy, and I'm wearing a 3-day-old mascara, and I probably haven't washed my hair in a week. Thank God for dry shampoo. Shout out to whoever made dry shampoo, by the way. Thank you so much. And the kids haven't slept a good night. The 3-year-old potty training, we wet the bed. Maybe my 12-year-old who's a type 1 diabetic, blood sugars were a little low. Like all of these challenges and things that we face, right? I've come to the understanding that life is going to life anyway. No matter how hard I try to control it, I have been shown many times that it doesn't work like that. So I figure at this point, why don't we just ride the wave, right? Why don't we just ride that wave and see where it takes us and figure it out from there? So that's kind of where I'm at in life, and that's what I help people do. We help navigate this space, whatever that looks like. And I hate to break it to people too, there's no hierarchy of humanity here. Like, I don't care who you are, where you come from. We are all that of the same. All of these things I've just been speaking about. At some point, this hits us, and you've hit a moment. You've hit a moment on this roller coaster we call life, where you are just, maybe you can't put your finger on exactly what it is that's coming up, right? I have a lot of people I work with. I'm so grateful, by the way. I just want to shout out to all the clients I've worked with, all the people. Just thank you so much. I'm extremely grateful for that ability to be able to help people navigate through life circumstances. But, if you're hitting this point where, you cannot put your finger on what it is exactly you need help with, well, welcome to the club, sis. Welcome. This is what this is for. This is what I'm here to do. This is what I want to put out to everybody. I want to move this message to the masses in regards to you understanding that there is more. Right? I know sometimes we get in the circumstances and they become very heavy, and kind of like you're going into quicksand and the stick is right here, but you can't really reach it. You just keep reaching out, that kind of stuff. This is where I get to kind of plug away and kind of help you, guide you through this part and trying to figure out what that is and what's holding you back. Because I don't know about you, but when things are not aligned, if you will, with the things I really, truly am passionate about or love or enjoy, I feel like doo-doo. I do not feel good. It doesn't feel good to be pulled away from those things, or disalignment, if you will, right? Like, easy comparison is if your tire's out of alignment and it's wobbling all the time. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Is when we're more aligned, if you will, if we're more, dare I say, balanced. I know that might be triggering for some, so be careful with that word. Things don't feel good. And I am a big proponent in saying, and I will say it right now, is energy speaks before we do, right? That's why we're intuitive. That's why we have this ability to know, like that pit in your stomach that's kind of always talking to you, your guide there. Yeah, that part is that, this space and what we create, it needs the navigation and the help, because the heaviness that comes with that. And you will start to see it in your day-to-day life. It will play out in the day-to-day. The anxiety, that catch in your throat where you feel like you want to throw up, but you can't speak at the same time, or the chest pains, right? Again, we are human and we're very physical, right? So everything mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it catches up to us physically, and that will happen. You can feel that in your chest. Stress comes in all flavors, and it affects us all the same yet different. We have many commonalities, but all of that combined can really trip us up and get us far away from where we actually want to be. So this is where I step in to help you through that, through the mess, if you will, and the chaos. Coffee in hand, obviously. So if you are wondering what's going to go from here, as I'm talking all this jazz and all of these things, well, Dawn, that's great, but how do we get there? That's what Messy Action's for, right? That's where we get to bridge the gap, if you will. And in more episodes to come, I'll be doing a holiday episode, because I know all of you, especially, listen, just shout out to my parents with Christmas and the holidays coming, okay? You can imagine with 5 kids what that looks like in my house. Like, I'm sure you can get the visual. But I want to be able to give you some tips and tricks, if you will, as to what has helped me and how I help other people through this space with the stress of that. New Year right around the corner, there's lots of things to come with that. But the beautiful thing is here, we don't have to wait till the new year, right? Like, everything I will talk about from here to the future is applicable across the board. It doesn't discriminate, just like stress doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how old you are, what you look like, if you're male or female. Our bodies respond to it just the same, right? So get a comfy seat, like just sit down, or if you're driving, and you just want to hear my voice, I'm a big proponent of that. I love podcasts because, if I'm dropping kids off and I have to run to the grocery store, at least it's 15 minutes for me to actually listen to something uplifting and fill my well, if you will. So yeah, if you're here to fill your well with some things just to get you through the day a little bit easier, and to grow your capacity to handle all of the things that life seems to keep throwing at you, here we are. And also, I'm going to pause for a minute, let you take a little potty break. I don't know about you, but I like to drink a lot of water as well. So if that's your thing, I'll take a second, go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you right back here. Welcome back. Okay, well, before I actually move through the rest of what I was going to say real quick, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, you can email me at info@downwiththewellness.com. My business name is Down with the Wellness Coaching and Consulting LLC. So I can leave all that. All of the information will be attached to this as well. Dawn Kralovich on Facebook. You can see me on Instagram. It's at Dawn with the Wellness. And also, fam, whatever you want me to talk about, right? Don't be afraid to reach out, email me, throw me a DM, what the cool kids are doing nowadays. Whatever is your flavor to contact me, feel free to do that. And just let me know if there's something very specific. I have coached at this point lots and lots of humans, a couple hundred people, whether it would be for a whole year or 2 years or for 20 minutes. Every minute counts of coaching. And if there's, again, anything you would want me to go about, I have coached people ages anywhere from 20 to 72 years old, okay? Men and women included. So don't be afraid to reach out for that. I would love that. I would love to see what it is, some hot topic you guys are really burning at to get at me for. So, and I will be leading on to, I'll kind of talk about going forward, we'll be hitting all the things. We'll be hitting specific for motherhood, for those of us who are now caretakers. Like I said at the beginning, I'm 44 years old, so I'm in the sandwich generation, right? So I'm still taking care of young kids, but I also have parents that are getting older that require more help, and I've come across a lot of that in the past year of men and women walking through that space and just really feeling lost in the sauce, guys, just lost in the sauce, not knowing who we are, what we want, because everything's kind of been piled on top of us. Like, the laundry currently sitting on my bed that I haven't got to because yesterday was Thanksgiving. So that'll be on the to-do list too. So anything you guys want to talk about, I'm here for it. No holds bar. I am very, very hard to offend. I don't know if you can tell. Nothing really offends me. Again, I've walked through so much in this lifetime currently that I'm willing to talk about anything, because isn't that what we're here to do as the Grand Collective, is to help each other out. So I'm here for it. Okay, and this kind of closing towards the end of this, I want you to know this podcast is going to include a lot about energy, intuition, again, daily stressors, things that are out of our control that we keep trying to control. The woulda, coulda, shouldas that don't work. That's a good one. And those things that, keep us small or lack in limitation, right? The things that are in the background are our default setting. I'll speak upon that, right? Like the narrative you have set up that keeps running and yapping its trap every time it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. And it's like, but remember that one time you tried and you failed miserably? Yeah, that narrative, that voice, we want to change that. We want to shift perspective. And then we want you to be aware of that, right? So I applaud you. I'm going to golf clap you. I dropped my paper. That's okay. That's real life. I'm going to applaud you and just say you're here. And that's like the first step to like being self-aware about your crap, right? Like we all have it. That just because I'm in this position doesn't mean that I don't move through life just like everybody else and have all things. Because if that's the case, I would be like fairy godmother with a wand and I'd be living on an island somewhere drinking a margarita. And that's not where I'm at. So I just want you to know in this space, you come as you are. I have found along this path that the more I am myself, the more I say no to things. That's a 2-letter word, no. By the way, it's a complete sentence, so I help a lot of people rediscover that. And I just have learned that I'd rather be myself because what follows is just happier. It's just, I'm content, and there's this peace that I know we all seek that gets really muffled. It gets muffled in the mess and the noise of day to day, and it doesn't make you feel good again. So anything we can do. But yeah, I'm so honored to be here. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I'm probably going to say that often. I say it a lot, how grateful I am. I'm very grateful I've been given this day. That might sound corny to most, but to me, I've lived through a lot of loss, sudden loss, like I spoke about in the beginning of this episode. I won't beat the dead horse. So a lot of that has altered my perspective, and I'm always coming from a place of gratefulness, even when, the dishes are piled, the laundry's piled, the kid's homesick, and I couldn't get to this. It's all perspective. It all shifts, and that's how life works. Life is always shifting. It's always changing. So I'm here to tell you not to fight the gradient, and can we just do it together, right? Can I just be your partner in crime here? Can you allow me to just kind of help you navigate that so you don't feel alone? And know that you're not broken. There's nothing need to be fixed, that we get to just learn from all this stuff, right? Oh yeah, and that's right, you get to love yourself through it. Remember that part in the beginning of this episode where I said the really corny unconditional love of self, where I said insert the eye roll for most, because I used to do that too, but how important that is to not judge yourself. And if you're anything like me, I did that a lot a few years ago. It's taken me quite some time to not judge myself for judging myself for judging. Shout out to my moms. I'm sure that's a big one for most. And then we insert the guilt right underneath. And then we just sprinkle the shame and guilt for not doing those things that we think we're supposed to be doing, right? I'm going to leave you with this before we also trickle into a little teaser for the next episode. I want to leave you with the thought of says who. Okay, family? I just want to leave you with says who. Who said that you have to do all of these things? Right? Who said that? Somewhere along the line, whether it was you, somebody close to you, an experience you had, or that's what you pulled from it as a kid, right? I know that's a whole nother show. We'll get into that. Who said that you have to do all these things? It's supposed to be like this, and if it's not, you're not doing something right. I want you to think about that. So yeah. You know where to find me. I can't wait for this to continue. Please reach out if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I'm a real person in real time. This is what I look like, blemishes and all. Come as you are, all right? And we'll see you soon. Have a great day.